Hi guys, Reading Grandma here. I have another book and it's about Trim, and we've read books about Trim before. This one is called Trim Sails the Storm and it's written by Deborah Hopkinson. Remember Trim? Chapter 1, A Stormy Surprise. Trim was a young ship's cat. He loved to perch on Captain Flinder's shoulder and help cook in the galley. He liked to watch Will paint in the crow's nest. He even liked patrolling the hold with Princess Bee. Trim thought he knew all about life at sea, but he still had a lot to learn. One morning, Trim trotted out of the galley and straight into a stormy surprise. Wind whipped his whiskers, the sky was dark and the deck was tilting, the sails were flapping like the beating of a drum. Trim's heart started to beat hard too. "I'm scared, Penny," Trim cried. "Why is the wind so strong?" "A strong wind tells us a storm is coming," the ship's dog said. Trim shivered. "I've never been in a storm before." "Don't worry, Trim," Jack said. "We know how to get ready, especially me. I'm a smart bird, a very smart bird. Watch." Jack flew to the rigging and screeched, "Reef the sails, crew." "What are the sailors doing, Penny?" Trim asked. Penny said, "Reef means to fold part of the sail to make it smaller." "Why do they do that?" Trim asked. "It makes the ship easier to steer in a storm," Penny said. Trim was glad to learn one way to get ready for a storm. Now his heart didn't beat so hard. Chapter 2, Batten Down the Hatches. Just then, Trim felt a plop. He mewed in surprise. "Oh no, it's raining!" "Don't worry, Trim," Penny said. "We know how to get ready for rain." Jack screeched, "Batten down the hatches, crew." "What are the sailors doing now, Penny?" Trim asked. "Batten is a strip of wood we use to cover any openings or hatches on deck," Penny said. "Why?" Trim asked. "We don't want rain to get into parts of the ship below," Penny said. "That's right," Jack said. "Water might spoil our food supplies in the hold, especially my snacks." Jack began to cover the hatch. "Watch out for leaks, Princess Bee," he called. "Aye, aye, Jack." The ship's rat saluted and disappeared below. Trim was glad to learn 2 ways to get ready for a storm. Now his heart didn't beat so hard. 1, reef the sails. 2, batten down the hatches. At that moment, the captain's hat blew across the deck. Will snatched it just in time. "Thank you, Will," Captain Flinders said. "I've already lost a button today. I don't want to lose my hat, too. Time to lash and secure loose items, crew." "What are the sailors doing now?" Trim asked. "Lash means to tie things down, and secure means to put them away," Penny replied. "Why?" Trim asked. "We don't want to lose objects sliding around on deck when waves rock the ship," Jack told him. "Something might bump me and rumple my feathers." Trim was glad to learn 3 ways to get ready for storms. Reef the sails, batten down the hatches, lash and secure. Jack, let's go help the gardener put tools away, Penny said. Trim's heart began to beat very hard again. Jack and Penny were about to leave him all alone in a storm. Wait, what about me? Trim yelled. What should I do to get ready? Take cover, Penny shouted. What does that mean? Trim asked. It means to get out of the rain, Penny said. Jack nodded. Yes, that's exactly what a cat should do in a storm. Trim was glad to know 4 ways to get ready for a storm, especially number 4, since his fur was already getting wet. So 1 is reef the sails, 2, batten down the hatches, 3, lash and secure, 4, take cover. Chapter 3. Trim helps a new friend. Trim headed for the galley. Just then he heard a strange sound. He stopped and listened hard. Screech, bray, wah! Trim's fur stood on end. Was it the stormy wind? Was it the creaky ship? Or was it a sea monster washed up from the deep? The sound came again. Screech, bray, wah! Slowly, Trim peeked around the corner. He saw a beautiful white bird with long black eyebrows and a bit pink on her bill. She wasn't a sea monster at all. Hello, I'm Trim, the ship's cat, Trim said. Who are you? I'm Wisdom, she said, shaking rain from her feathers. I'm an albatross. Trim asked, are you hurt or sick or scared of the storm? I'm not hurt or sick, Wisdom said. I am a little bit scared. I'm a young bird, and I haven't been in a storm before. This is my first storm too, Trim said, but I think now it's time for us to take cover. That means to get out of the rain. Let's go huddle under that lifeboat. Follow me. The storm raged and raged. Trim and Wisdom stayed dry and safe, tucked up under the lifeboat. Wisdom said, thank you for helping me. I still have a lot to learn. I do too, Trim said. My friend showed me 4 ways to get ready for a storm, but now I know there are 5 ways. Number 5 is to help someone else stay safe. After a long while, the rocking ship put Trim and Wisdom to sleep. 1, reef the sails. 2, batten down the hatches. 3, lash and secure. 4, take cover. 5, help someone else stay safe. Chapter 4. Trim makes a discovery. When Trim woke up, it was dark. The sea was calm and the wind was still. The rain had stopped, and Trim purred. They had made it through the storm. Trim saw that Wisdom was still sleeping. My new friend will be hungry when she wakes up, he thought. Trim trotted over to the galley. Cook had put fish stew in his bowl. Trim plucked a piece of fish and placed it before Wisdom. She would have a fine breakfast in the morning. Trim sat alone under the twinkling stars. One star skittered down from the sky. Trim blinked. He spied something shiny nearby. Had that shooting star landed on their ship? No, that's silly, Trim thought. Then Trim remembered the captain's lost silver button. Trim pounced. Got it, he thought. Captain Flinders will be happy to get this back. Trim was still a young cat, but he already knew there are many ways to do something nice for someone else. Chapter 5, The Best Ship's Cat Ever. The next time Trim woke, the sun was shining in a bright blue sky. Trim saw the flash of a graceful white wing. It was Wisdom, gliding over the waves. Trim hoped he would see his new friend again. Oh, what's this? Captain Flinders picked up a bit of silver. Look, everyone, Trim found my lost button and kept it safe. Hip hip hooray for Trim, the sailors yelled. Thanks to all the crew, Captain Flinders said, we worked together to get ready for the storm, and we came through fine. This calls for honey cakes, Cook said. Everyone cheered again. That night, 4 friends sat on the bow, munching honey cakes. Captain Flinders appeared. Trim hopped up to his shoulder. It was right where he belonged. Tomorrow will be a fine day to explore the world and learn new things, Captain Flinders said to Trim. Are you ready for more adventures, dear boy? Trim purred. He was ready for anything. After all, he had sailed the storm, helped a new friend, and found the captain's lost button. I still have a lot to learn, Trim thought, but I want to be the best ship's cat ever. And he was. And that is the end. And if you remember, Trim was actually based on a true cat that sailed, and in I'm not sure where. He's a British explorer, so somewhere in the United Kingdom, they actually built a statue of the real Trim and the captain. I'd like to see that in person sometime. That's pretty neat. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the book. Loved reading it to you. Bye.